Hello and welcome to a bonus episode of Why Would You Tell Me That with him, Neil Delamere, and me, Dave Moore. And we've got a big episode every Thursday morning landing into your feeds. But during the week, we like to give you a little bit of extra bonus bits. So here's a bonus bit now.
Welcome to the extra special bonus episodes of Why Would You Tell Me That? I learned in our recent main episode that Dave has the weirdest swimming technique I've ever heard in a human.
Well, hang on. Maybe we can get our bonus listeners to get in touch with the email address, which is wwytmtpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
If you have any similar quirks for any other activities, maybe swimming, maybe being at a height, maybe mountain biking, I don't know, whatever. Like, I can't be the only one with quirky behaviour around activities.
My dad once went on. My dad is scared of heights, and once went on a bus trip to Monte Cassino in Italy, and it's right up, and he had to lay on the floor of the bus.
Right, little roads and
that was the thing so the heights thing. I mean, people hold their nose when they're jumping into the...
Oh, no, I get all that, but I'm talking quirks here now.
But very few people hold their nose. If in case somebody's missed the main episode, it's very unlikely. But anyway, Dave admitted, and it is admitted because it is shameful. When he gets into a body of water, he holds his baby fingers against his nostrils and his thumbs against his ears, blocks both of them so that the water doesn't get in and doesn't damage
the water. And yeah, that's it.
So presumably, it is the one thing. If I know one thing about you, it is that you have long wanted to become a born again evangelical Christian.
Oh, right.
And I assume that the one barrier to this is that it will involve
being baptized in the body of water. Yeah.
And this is the main thing.
That's it. I've tried the Episcopalians.
Yeah.
I've tried the
Baptists,
the
obviously,
Presbyterians, the Pythagoreans, all of them. Yeah.
And they all insist.
They all insist that if I'm to be baptized, I must remove my fingers from my nostrils and my thumbs from my ears, and I refuse. I say, so Jesus would love me, but no one will take me.
So if you had ever met the famous Irish comedian Dave Allen, you could not have gone swimming together if he had the same technique as you. Because he famously had a damaged finger on one of his hands, and he couldn't have done.
He couldn't have done it.
Isn't that an awful shame?
Yeah. Thankfully, I am fully digitally complete.
Okay.
So I'm okay. Anyway, I needed two of my digits.
Okay.
For a lot this weekend just gone.
I
needed two of them. I needed my forefinger.
Yeah.
And my pinky to make the devil horns sign. Because I went to see my favourite band perform not once, but twice.
Where was it?
Metallica was on in the Aviva.
So this is the thing to do where they do no repeat weekend, is it?
Yeah. So what they do is they came up with this idea back in 2023 for their albums called 72 Seasons, the M72 tour. And they're getting on a bit, okay?
Yeah.
They've had... struggles, some of them with alcohol, and they've kind of beaten their demons, which is great, and they're still together. They've been together since 1981, so it's a long time. They've put out a lot of music. They've got rabid fans. They're definitely the biggest heavy band around. Like, I know Bon Jovi are big, and Aerosmith and the Stones and whatever, but in terms of proper heavy music, there's nobody as big as Metallica.
But 2 nights in the Aviva.
So what they do is they pick a city.
Yeah.
And they do a takeover of the city for 5 days. So let's imagine the gigs are Friday, Sunday. Sometimes they can be Saturday, Monday. Sometimes they can be Thursday, Saturday. But let's imagine, in this case in Dublin, it was Friday, Sunday. So on the Wednesday, they open up a pop-up merch shop.
It's just the way they always do it.
Yes, since the M72 tour in 2023. And the pop-up shop is open in a different location, not in the stadium, different location. In Dublin, it was in the National Convention Centre, huge building down on the Quays. And they take over the bottom floor of that. It's absolutely huge. And they have so much merchandise. Everything you think of, obviously t-shirts, hoodies, but like shorts, shirts, posters, badges, cups. I saw at one point a €300 cooler bag. Like, It's made by whoever makes the coolest cooler bags in the world. I don't know who they are, but it had a little Metallica logo on it. But it was like, but you can buy anything, skateboard decks, like you name it, right?
Serious.
So that opens on the Wednesday. It's open on the Thursday. It's open on the Friday, and that's the first day of the gig. And you go to the stadium. When you buy your tickets, most people buy the 2 dates. You can eventually, because they only release them at the start. They release the 2-day tickets, and eventually they will release single dates closer to the date. But most people there will be there. So what you buy is, if you're on the pitch, you're on the pitch for 2. If you're sitting in a seat, if you're in block 7, row 8, seat 10, you're in that for both nights.
Right, okay.
Right? So you get to know your neighbors, you know the ins and outs, it's all comfortable, whatever. So on the Friday, they will perform 20 songs, whatever Metallica do, a 2 and a bit hour set. And then what they'll do is they'll head off, say goodbye. The gear all stays where it is. The stage stays where it is. The Saturday is completely free for them. They can relax and chill. They get up on Sunday, they've got the morning, whatever. Then Sunday evening, they go back to the stadium and they perform again. Another 20 odd songs. So if you kind of go, oh, well, I want to make sure I hear Enter Sandman, you can't buy one ticket and guarantee you'll hear it. Because if their 4 biggest songs for closing out a show are Enter Sandman, One, Seek and Destroy, and Master Puppets, they will play those in 2s and 2s.
Yeah.
So you might go along and see One and Enter Sandman, but you really love Master Puppets, but you won't have heard it if you don't go to both nights.
It's a genius idea when you have that much of a back catalogue.
Yeah, back catalogue and the rabid fandom that they have. Because, like, to say that they have...
It's a way of doubling their money.
Oh, completely. Because think about the economies of scale. When you put a stage... Like, they have 40
the rigging and all the rest and
trucks coming in with this stage is so huge. But when you put that in, every night you're there, the cost is going down. Whereas usually it's, as you said, it's set it up and de-rig it that night and bring it to Prague and bring it to Copenhagen. Yeah. They're like, no, we've got 2 of these. And as we are set up in Dublin, we are traveling and setting up in Glasgow. And then when Glasgow is being... The Dublin one has gone to Cardiff.
They've 2
of everything.
Entire rigs.
Yeah, and they
and how now you sent me a picture of, because I was texting you about something, and you sent me a picture of where you were, and basically you were so close. If he was a platypus, you could drink his milk.
Okay, this is where we need to talk about this now. Look, I'm a lucky boy. I work in radio.
Yeah.
So for the last 20 odd years, I don't really have to buy tickets to gigs.
No, because people might not know this, but I assume they do. But radio stations, you are promoting things,
Hugely
you're dealing with MCD, you're dealing with Aiken, you're dealing with artists all the
promoters,
time.
all
so
the
you
labels.
know people, and you're publicising their acts, you want the interview, so there's a quid pro quo there. So people in entertainment get good tickets.
Now, usually the tickets are, a seat somewhere. So if I go to the 3 Arena as a guest of the production company or the record label, I'll be somewhere on the balcony in the first 10 rows. I'm very happy. I'm not looking for backstage passes or whatever. But Metallica do a thing, which they've done since the early 90s. When they played the Point Depot back in 1992, which is now the 3 Arena. Was it the Cunning Stunts tour? No, it was before that. It was Wherever I May Roam, maybe. Anyway, 1992. They built their stage on the stage, as you normally would. And then they built these walkout platforms. And they kind of came out... not quite like a semicircle on a penalty area, but not far off that shape. And they could walk all the way around and get closer to the crowd behind that or whatever and come back around the side. But then they realized, well, hang on, we've got a hole in the middle.
Yeah.
Let's sell those tickets at a premium and call it the Snake Pit.
Wow, okay.
Right?
So is it Snake Pit, Mosh Pit, crowd?
No, it would be... so the word mosh pit in general is used for the front of a stage.
Okay.
But usually that's the cheapest of the tickets is like get on the floor, get close. A mosh pit is like where you're jumping around and moshing around in a circle or whatever. They called this the Snake Pit and they sold it at a massive premium and it sold out every night, every place. So since 1992, they've had a Snake Pit. And... I've never been in the Snake Pit because it's too expensive. And obviously the record labels and the promoters are not giving them those tickets. They don't even have those tickets.
Yeah.
The new tour is designed in such a way that they play in the round. So the stage is a complete circle. But the Snake Pit in the middle is huge. So all of a sudden, the record labels and the promoters have got Snake Pit wristbands. Because you can probably fit, I'm going to guess a number, 500 people in there.
Wow.
Like it's comfortable. Right?
How close were you?
So think about this. When you think about a big band, you're not going to see a band in, the workman's club in town where you can plonk your seat down and literally you're sitting right next to the stage. every stage has a barrier. The Olympia, the Academy, the wherever, the Ambassador, all the smaller venues. Vicar Street is probably the one that doesn't. That you could walk. You've played Vicar Street so many times. Somebody could walk up and put their hand on your stage.
Yes.
Now they don't because they sit in Vicar Street. But even I think when Vicar Street has no tables and it's open for dancing, they have a little barrier between the stage, and then people can go up as far as the barrier. When you're on the outside of the Metallica stage, so you're on a pitch ticket, you can get right up and be front of, and there's so many places to be in front of because it's a circle, but you're still got a barrier and then 6 feet to where the stage starts. In the circle pit, in the snake pit, there's no barrier. You can put your hands on the stage from the inside. So I'm going to give Diarmuid a photograph, which I'll show Neil now, and you can all have a look. This is how close I was to the lead singer of Metallica. Now, I'm not zoomed in. That is 0 zoom on my phone.
God, like you're about 6 feet from
If even. Like I'm one person. I'm one person behind him. As I said, if I really wanted it, I could reach over and touch the stage. I could reach over that guy's head or push him out of the way or whatever and get there and be that close.
That is unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen seats
No,
that
I've
close.
never experienced anything like this. And it
like
was...
it's the equivalent of Spike Lee on the floor at the basketball.
That's a really good analogy, actually.
For the Knicks or Ben Stiller.
Yeah, so anyone who watches NBA, you'll notice that they sell the most expensive seats to celebrities usually.
And they're always sitting in the
But they're
front
sitting
row.
on the floor, so therefore
You're on the
court. Yeah, there's no barrier.
Yeah.
So this is effectively what that was like. And Metallica, like I first went to see Metallica in 1988. In the Top Hat in Dunleary, which doesn't exist anymore. It's now apartment blocks. The Top Hat was a ballroom. So you're talking about maybe a 700 capacity venue.
1988, they were doing
88.
700 seats in Dunleary.
Yeah. They played here in 86 in the SFX, and then they played in 88.
And what do you think, many people, was there 50,000 people
Oh, yeah.
2 nights?
Yeah, easy.
So now the thing is, it's the same 50,000 people.
Well, no,
So
because...
they're not doing 100,000 people. They're doing
No,
50,000
doing
people.
Yeah, but
Unless you give your seat to somebody else, which is unlikely.
No, it's not even that. They will sell, I'd say, 80 to 90% of the tickets as 2-nighters, and then there'll be a lot of single
so
tickets.
you don't have to go.
No, you don't have to. Eventually,
okay.
they will get free, and a lot of people do that. A lot of people just go, "I'm just going to go on the
But
Friday."
one way or the other, they're sold 700 in 1988, and they might be doing 70,000 now.
Yeah, let's say 70,000, and let's say if it was 140,000, I think they would sell it. The demand for tickets was unreal. Okay, unreal. It's again, which is why I know how lucky I am. Anyway, I went as a guest of MCD, the promoter, and they put me in their corporate box, okay, which is a very nice place to be. I do football matches and those things because I work with Sky, who are the sponsor of...
I can just feel our listeners turning off this, though, because
look, I've got to be... I'm being honest. I'm being open, authentic, yeah? So I'm in there on Friday and I have food, I have drinks, I have a seat. It's a bit drizzly on the Friday. I'm covered. And I'm waiting to confirm whether or not I'm going to be snake bit, because there's been rumors among the label and the promoter that this is a possibility. Please don't quote me. I can't guarantee it. We'll see how we go. It's up to the management of the band, who's allowed in there, you know. And then eventually a guy taps me on the shoulder and says, "Do you want to go snake bit?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Here," and hands me 3 wristbands for me, my best mate David, who has been going to gigs with me since, I don't know, the last 20 years, and my eldest son, Andrew, who, when the tickets went on sale a year and a half ago, I announced it on my show. I was given that honor to be the first person to announce the gig. The promoter said to me, "Hey, do you want a +1 for both nights? Because I know you're a big fan, and obviously I'm going to ask you to do the announcement." I was like, "Yeah, absolutely I do. Thanks for me." And then I went around my mates and I said, "Lads, who's going to Metallica? I have a +1." And everyone wanted to go in +5s and, or I want to go with my friend or whatever. And then there was myself and David, and I said to him, "Look, we'll go together. We've been to see Metallica loads together. Let's do this." And he's like, "Thank you very much." But I said to my eldest at the time, I said...
Still your eldest.
Sorry, at the time I said to my eldest, "Do you want to go to Metallica?" And
I found another. What a weird way to tell everybody you have an illegitimate child. He was my eldest at the time, but then my heir from my concubine came to light, and I brought him.
he loves music and loves gigs. And I said to him, do you want to go to Metallica? And he kind of went, nah, I kind of know a few songs. I'm not really that into them. I was like, fine.
Yeah.
In the intervening
He's
18
mad
months,
into them now, is he?
No, he has become the biggest Metallica fan. He plays the guitar all the time, plays the drums. I haven't forced any music on him.
No, can I just say, I know you're talking about how lucky you are to get these tickets. And yeah, absolutely you are. However, there is no bigger Metallica fan in the country as well. So when they're going out to hand out the Snake Pit tickets, and they're looking at a man who knows how many seats are sold in 1988.
Yeah.
You have done the time.
I have done the time. Yeah, no, in fairness, this was my 15th and 16th time seeing Metallica.
Do you know what I did live with the Apollo? I've done my 5 minutes in the Halfpenny Bridge Inn.
Yes.
I've done the International.
Yeah, okay,
I've done the Mountjoy Prison.
Yeah.
You know, so you've done your time.
Anyway,
so Andrew wants to go.
He really wanted to go, and then so what I did was I did something I'd never do, which is I rang the promoter about 2 weeks out, and I said, listen,
any chance?
I would never, I wouldn't ask.
Yeah.
And he says, I know you never ask. And I said, okay. All I'm asking for is if there's one standing somewhere, he doesn't even want to go into a corporate box. Don't worry about that. If you just get to the day and you have a spare ticket, please let me know. And he said, I'll come back to you. I got a text about 2 days before to say, he's okay. He's with you. He's in the corporate box. And I was like, and now they also have 4 support acts, 2 on the first night, 2 on the second night. And they're not middle of the road acts. Like usually it's like, who? So Avatar, a massive Swedish metal band, and Pantera, one of the biggest metal bands in the world, are the 2 supports on Friday. Andrew's top 3 bands in the world are Metallica, Radiohead, and Pantera. So bringing him to this show means he will see not 1, but 2 of his favorite bands. On the Sunday, it was Knocked Loose, an amazing hardcore band from America, and Gojira, a French band. Absolutely monstrous metal band. And they were supporting that. Anyway, that was Sunday. On the Friday, we went into the lovely corporate box and we sat there and we enjoyed Avatar, and then Pantera came on. And David and Andrew, who are going to Deftones together, so my son and my mate are going in the IMA in Kilmainham in August to see Deftones together. Also love Pantera more than I do. So to see the 2 of them singing along to the songs was just amazing. And it was during Pantera I went in to get a drink. That's when your man handed me the wristbands. And I didn't say it. And I had never mentioned anything to either of them about the possibility because I didn't want to have it even be in the conversation. And then we're sitting down to a bite to eat that was provided again in the corporate box. And then I just said, boys, I've been keeping a secret. And I whipped out 3 Snake Pit wristbands. And Neil, I've done lots of good things for lots of people in my life. But the look on their 2 faces as it dawned on them what was happening, what we were about to do, that we were going from the stands down into the belly of this show to be as close as that picture you've seen.
5 feet.
Oh, it was
of your
one
heroes.
of the most incredible moments of my life. And then what followed, they delivered like you wouldn't believe.
That's a very sweet story, and I have to say, your eldest son, your
allegedly
eldest son, if we don't talk about little Manchurian child. Anyway, from your concubine. So obviously he's a teenager, right? So
16,
Dad is not cool.
No,
Dad has not been cool for a few years. Dad will be cool again,
probably again,
right.
But right now,
now, not cool. And I would suggest getting your son, who loves that band, Metallica, so much, and Pantera and everybody else, loves them so much, getting him that close to the stage. That I've never seen tickets like that before. That has just gotten him to where you are, not cool, but to level. And then he'll see you, hold your nose and ears close to Ken. And you're way... I think you'd have to play with the band to overcome that. In fact, Lars
Ulrich is the drummer. Yeah.
I think if he knew you did that, I think
he'd say no Snake Pit.
You kicked out. That's really cool.
I will tell you in another bonus episode why I probably should have been kicked out of the Snake Pit on night 2.
Do.
But that's a different story.
That's next bonus episode.
All right, thanks.